This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate.
Thank you for tapping in. It's Brian HRap Williams. It is good to see you. I hope you had a happy weekend, a peaceful weekend, and an enjoyable weekend. It was Resurrection Weekend for the people who are spiritually bound. Thank you for tapping in. I hope everything went as such and as planned. And thank you for tapping in, giving me your valuable time. You already know what I say every week. If you're not watching this live, please go to www.TheEndOfTheBench.com. Watch it live on there. You also get the Black History information to the right. On the left-hand side, it's the program. On the right-hand side, it's the Black History. You need both. It is Black History Unlocked. It is a Black Culture Unlocked, excuse me. That's why I got it from today. It's important that you tap in with them, tap in with me, and share and tell a friend to tap in. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tapping in. It is important that you do so. Something that's also important to me is acknowledging my parents. Thank you to Dolores and John. Thank you to Dolores and John. Without Dolores and John, there would be no me. Without me, you'd be doing something else with your valuable time. I'm only going to take a small period of time. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Thank you. Now, with that being said, a good Friday. It was a play on words. I know a lot of people thought I said Good Friday, and I did that on purpose. A good Friday. Friday was a good day. Friday, last week was a good week. It was Resurrection Week. And if you're spiritually bound, it means something very important to you. And what I did was take some of that and use it to my advantage. And I'm doing what I'm going to be complaining about, but I need you to bear with me. It was a good Friday. We found out a lot of things Friday. A lot of people are starting to wake up. This woke thing is becoming real. Shout out to the white nationalists that tried to turn our culture against us and turn other people against us with our terminology. Good, because it does two things. It exposes the posers, and it also exposes us to what we need to do, which is it is a twofold blessing: the blessing of waking us up and the blessing of identifying basically the pee in the pool, metaphorically. You know, you urinate in the pool, it turns blue around you. You did it. And when those people started using our terminology against us, it actually woke us up. A lot of us were going along to get along. You know, this illusion of inclusion. We're no longer falling for that foolishness. We're no longer going along with that nonsense. What we're doing is waking up, galvanizing, coming together, galvanizing, immobilizing, which is coming together, and organizing, and then moving forward. And that's how we will be using Friday's information and today's information and any other information that we can to become the righteous people that we are. That's why I use the term Good Friday, because it is the resurrection of our community. It is the beginning of the resurrection of our community. I'm going to use it as that because we have been duped for a very long time with this illusion of inclusion. You have tons of people who say, well, I have good white people around me. And I'm going to talk about one in just a second. And like I've said hundreds of times on my programs or any other program I've appeared on, don't use your white significant other or other cultural significant other. Don't use your friends or co-workers or the good people that you've met in your life as the example. No more than the people who are erroneous and break laws and doing nefarious things throughout our community. Should they be an example of us? It's a very small percentage of people in our community that's breaking laws and just being chaotic. It's a very small percentage, but those people get, as they say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Those people get the attention of the world, and they allegedly showing the world an example of who we are, which is a lie, because we're not that. We're no more that than you are a Klansman, Mr. Outside of our Mr. or Mrs. outside of our community, or whatever hate group that is affiliated with your culture. You're not that. So don't take the worst of us and apply it to us. And that's all I'm saying. Now, when you're looking at these situations, you're seeing a lot of people. I'm going to talk about things, talk about a few things. I'm going to talk about people with hidden agendas today. I'm going to talk about people with hidden agendas and people who are basically distractions. I'm going to talk about people who are cosplaying. Cosplaying is in a costume, pretending to be something else. And then I'm going to talk about how we can win. That's what I'm going to talk about today. But let's talk about the distractions first and foremost. One of the biggest buffoons in the history of television, radio, print media, or any other what we call this content creating is one Stephen A. Smith. He is one of the biggest buffoons in the history of our community. And I mean every word of that. And I'm saying that with all, as I'm going to use one of his terms, I'm saying that with all vitriol, that all of vitriol I can muster up. He is a clown. And the reason I'm calling him a clown is because he literally stepped out, because he has millions of people listening to his programming and millions of people paying attention to him. And I've actually, before people start realizing the buffoon that he is, I've actually had people disrespect me, or you're just hating because even before I started doing this, man, you sound like a hater to me. And then those very people called me back and said, how did you see it? Because I just listened to him. BS will be shown as BS no matter what it is. Just, hey, your action speaks louder than words. Well, his actions and his words are full of it. What we do, and I'm going to talk about that as well. People, other celebrities, they always donate to charity. But you know what? That's a tool. That's a distraction as well. That's a tool of evil, the devil, the enemy, or whatever you want to call it. Because what I'll do is present something good to you while I'm reaching around and stabbing you in your back at the same time. I'm going to shake your hand and stab you in the back. I get the HBCUs, but you sit on TV and you disrespect our community regularly. You disregard people regularly. You act as if you don't know what you're doing regularly. You send out a media storm against one LeBron James because he doesn't like you. He doesn't play into you. You didn't get angry until he went on Pat McAfee's show. Then you attempted to drag him, and you went on 1,000 other shows, and this, that, and the third. So you could never be a friend, because if you were a friend, you'd have did what Maverick Carter and Randy and those other guys that run with LeBron have actually said. They did try to reach out to you before he went to you on their court, but what we see. It's the public eye. Oh, well, LeBron stepped to him. And then what did the stupid people who've been programmed to dislike this dude? And I don't mean in regards to his basketball. You don't have to be a fan. I wasn't a fan of Michael Jordan. I wasn't a fan of Kobe Bryant. They were great players, but they were not in my wheelhouse of fandom. So I'm not asking you to be a fan of him. I'm talking about the man. When you denigrate him and call him the B word and P words and all these names that don't have anything to do with basketball. Matter of fact, you probably never even come in contact with him. So you don't know if he's a B or a P anyway. I have friends, very close friends. He's just not that. Okay. But, I don't have anything to say about him off the court. On the court, he's a punk. He complains to the road. Stop it, y'all. It's just foolishness and madness. But Stephen A. Smith, you kick that dust back up because you understand the easiest target in the world is that guy. Because we've been trained to not listen. Like young people got this thing on the internet. We listen, but we don't judge. We've been trained to not listen, but judge. That's why that little thing is probably so popular, because we don't listen, we don't make our own minds up, and we judge. And you, Mr. Smith, are a distraction. You are a distraction. This is a guy who's never run anything but his damn mouth. He is a guy who publicly said, every morning I get up and figure out how to make money from my boss, and then I'm going to try to get some. If that isn't the most ass backward, step and fetch it statement I've ever heard in my life, I'll never hear another one. I'll never hear something more coonish in my life. But he said that. But he also said he wants to run for the office of president. How do you want to be president and you don't know policy? Because I listen to you. You don't know anything but sit on TV and be loud about nothing, passionate about nothing. Nobody is that passionate. Dr. King, Malcolm X, Shirley Chisholm, Fannie Lou Hamer were not that passionate about living in America. But you can be passionate about everything. He is a distraction, ladies and gentlemen, because you have a game show host running the country right now. How's that working for you? How's that working for you? All you people who just did not want that black woman or that black and Asian woman or whatever, that woman of color, whatever, however you want to term her or categorize her, you didn't want her in office. You allowed your inner hate, your inner disdain, your programmed dislike for people who are not like you. Since we're speaking on the spiritual realm, a heathen, because a heathen just means other than you. She was a heathen, so you didn't want nothing to do with no heathens, right? Exactly. So this guy stepping up, I think I'm gonna have to run for president. Ask him anything about the Constitution, and he will look at you as if you asked him how many people live on Mars, because he does not know. And for someone who is influential in our community, who still have a lot of people paying attention to him, to say that he is just as catastrophic a distraction as one Kanye West, as the Green Party, and all those parties that only show up when it's time to run for president so they can cipher working class people away from the two power structures. And we're not putting ourselves in the best possible situation. And if anybody doubts me, you got a guy, again, a game show host running the country right now. How's it working out for you? We can no longer put people who don't know what the hell they're doing in office for anything. Arnold Schwarzenegger should have never been the governor. Even though he seemed to be a solid human being and a well-informed person, we should have never had Jesse the Body Ventura as the governor of Minnesota. I don't really know about anything negative he's done, but if you're not a policymaker, if you're not a poli-sci major, if you're not a person who worked your way up from the ground up, we don't need you there, because celebrity shouldn't be running the country. Ronald Reagan should have never been the governor anywhere. We don't need these people. Now, if you're a person who has immersed himself into the political landscape and you're doing grassroots things and you're helping here, you're doing things like Hill Harper running for office in the state of Michigan, then yeah, maybe we need to look into you. But I tell you what, if you really just want to work for a black person, all you have to do is look to the east of the country, just north of DC, and look at this guy by the name of Wes Moore. That is the type of individual that he's a policymaker. He's a former Marine. He's former military. He's already immersed in policy, and he's making things happen in the state of Maryland. Wes Moore is a stand-up individual. Hey, newsflash, he's more qualified than said the previous president, Barack Hussein Obama, who did a smashing job. I don't care what you say. Why don't you look at the policies and take your emotion out of it? He did a great job. Well, he didn't do anything for us. What did us ask for? And what exactly did he not do that you were looking for? Most people who make that silly ass statement, they don't know. And excuse my language, I'm just upset. I'm tired of people who don't know speaking about things and speaking matter-of-factly about things they do know. Was he perfect? No. Was he even excellent? No, but he did a great job. But that's not the point. If you want to vote for a black man who's doing things, who can help us, you vote for somebody like Wes Moore. You do not vote for another jackass on ESPN, loud. He don't even know about the things that he pretends that he knows about. If you listen to him, he refers to, oh, I'm going to refer to this guy. He's an expert. I'm going to refer to this guy. He's an expert. And then you have experts that disagree with the things that he's been programmed to say, and then he gets louder. That's not going to do you. That sounds just like the jackass that's in the office now. So why would we allow that? Again, we need no more distractions. He is a distraction. He is a distraction. And when I talk about distractions, it leads me to my next point, which is cosplay. Cosplay, costume play. That's what it really means. It is a abbreviated form of basically theatrical behavior. Why am I bringing that up? It's three people that annoyed me this weekend. The first one, Shaquille O'Neal. He sits up there and he talks about the charitable work and he talks about big tips he's giving out because we've been mesmerized by fame and finance. Look, I am the last person to downplay finance. I need more money than I want. And I'm going to say that again so you'll understand how much money I need. I need more money than I want. I want so much money, but I need even more because I don't want just money for me. I want money so I can take care of me, my friends, my family. I want to do charitable things. I do charitable things and I want to do more. So the money that I need for Brian to be okay and Brian's people, the people that Brian care for and love, that's one thing. But I need even more so I can do things for people that I don't know. With that being said, Shaquille O'Neal is a clown. He's a bozo. He's a buffoon. He's a jackass. And I mean these things, man. I mean them from the very essence of my life. The DNA is in my DNA. I'm speaking directly through Dolores and John because my mother raised me to be somebody who identifies nonsense and walk away from it. And Shaquille O'Neal needs to be walked away from. I don't give a darn about no charity he's doing. He gave away a $5,000 tip, and man, he's a good guy. No, he's not. Because when Shaquille O'Neal heard about those cops unlawfully assassinating young black men in the streets, he took the side of the police. Y'all forgot about it. Y'all let him sit on TNT and tell those silly ass jokes and get emotional about nonsense. And then he turns around and he's being seen hugging on Donald Trump. When you acknowledge somebody who is diametrically opposed to everything we stand for, he wants to eliminate HBCUs, which means he don't want black people to go when we're being made uncomfortable at PWIs, predominantly white institutions. And then we start migrating back to the HBCUs that were created because white people didn't want us at the PWIs. So, and this guy wants to eliminate that. He wants to eliminate African American studies. He wants to close down the African American Museum. He wants to do away with everything that's black. And you're seeing hugging and laughing and kikiing with them. We need to annihilate this person from our community. And I don't mean any harm, hurt, or devastation coming to that brother or that man. But what we need to do is start just peacefully walking away from him. Well, you own this, but we're not going to shop there. You dealing with that, we're not dealing with you. We need to eliminate ourselves from people like this. These people are detriments to our community because they sit around and you use cool slogans and quote rappers and taking pictures with celebrities, and then you turn around and you want to hug on this guy. Anybody affiliated with him, I don't give a damn where you affiliated with him. We need to walk away. You will never see Dr. King sitting around having drinks with David Duke. You will never see Malcolm X sitting around with this guy. You will never see Kwame Ture, Fannie Lou Hamer, Dorothy Chisholm, any of these people, man. Shirley Chisholm, Dorothy is somebody's politician here in Illinois, I'm sorry. But Shirley Chisholm, you'll never see these people interacting with people who are attempting to destroy us in a smiling, jovial way. No, we are here, as y'all say today, they are standing on business. And he's sitting around smiling and kikiing and huh? Nah, dog, no more cosplay. Either you in or you out. You, your co-host Charles, all of y'all, we need to do away with these people. We need to just politely put down our utensils and walk away. And when you have people, when we start to walk away, and then people, either you're going to understand, stay out of our way, or if you're stupid enough to be opposed to us, shut your darn mouth. And then we'll let you continue your life as you do it. We have to get away from this mentality of, and the third person I'm going to talk about is Wallow 267. The same Wallow from Gilly and Wallow $1 million worth of game. We need to do away with him. You had a lot of people standing around talking about, well, he stood in front of an audience and said, I ain't supporting nobody just because they black. I'm looking for quality. And if it ain't quality and consistency, I ain't dealing with it. Understand, we're the only community that thinks that way. I live in Chicago, one of the most segregated cities in the United States of America. You think the South is segregated, Chicago is segregated. You want to know how segregated Chicago is? I went to preschool, elementary school, and high school here in Chicago. Understand, I have never sat next to a non-Black child. I can name right off the top of my head the non-Black educators that were in my life. Yes, I can do it. I'm talking about preschool through 8th through 12th grade. All through my education process, there were very few non-Black teachers. So, and no non-Black children in class next to me. Now, I had the opportunity, but I transferred from the institution. But at the end of the day, I went to an all-Black high school, all-Black elementary school, and an all-Black preschool. And hey, for the record, we were only half a mile. We were half a mile away from a Puerto Rican neighborhood called Humboldt Park, and my elementary school was a half a mile away from a Mexican neighborhood called Pilsen. So it's not like they were far away and white people were on the other side of Roosevelt Road. So it's not even a half a mile. So it's not like they were far away from us. We had no interaction with other people. And the reason I'm bringing that up is I'm tired of stupid ass people. Yes, stupid ass people. And for the people I offend with my profane language, I apologize up front. I'm tired of stupid ass people like Wallow. Oh, well, I've had more Black people do wrong to me than white people. Yeah, because you Black, dumbass. Because for every one white person, you probably know 300 Black people. The same reason I've had more arguments with both my sisters and my brother than I've had with anybody in the world. Because guess what? They used to be right there on top of me. I've had more arguments and disagreement with my cousins than anybody else in the world because we spend time around each other. The more time you spend around people, the more disagreements and chicanery you'll have to deal with. So for him to come out and say, I'm looking for quality. No, you're not looking for quality. You're looking for acceptance. Here's $1 million a game for your dumb ass. Wallow, if you come to Chicago on Devon and Western, there's a Muslim community. When you go into those restaurants, you only see Muslims. Just a little further north, there's a Jewish community. When you go into Kaufman's Deli, everybody sitting in Kaufman's Deli purchasing 95 to 99% of the people in there are part of the Jewish community. When you go to Pilsen, most of those people are Hispanic. When you go into Humboldt Park, most of those people are Puerto Ricans. Guess what? That's what happens when you open an establishment and you sell things from your culture. People from your culture tend to shop with you the most. God rest his soul, James Dodd II. I had a conversation with him before. We're from the same community. He told me he used to go to the store for this Jewish lady in the community. She would pay him an extra nickel to walk an extra block so she can go get her groceries from the Jewish community. Yes, because that's what people and cultures do. They support the culture. Am I asking you to go to substandard institutions and patronize? No, I'm not. But when you say, I'm looking for quality, you are making the assumption or you're leaving the door open for people to assume that we offer substandard services. You damn fool, you. Guess what? When you and your cousin, Gilly the King or Gilly the Kid, well, Gilly, no disrespect to him because he's not saying stupid things like you're saying. When you guys started that podcast, who was paying attention to your podcast when it was cruel and kind of scratchy? We supported it. It wasn't as good as Club Shay Shay. It wasn't as good as the Big Time podcast, but we still supported you because we gave you an opportunity to grow. When I first started, it wasn't what are you seeing now? Because of the people who supported me, they gave me time to grow. So they wasn't looking for excellence out the door. Even though you should do your very best every time you do anything, but stop playing it as if hey, I'm open for no, I'm not open for everybody. I'm speaking to my community. I'm speaking to Black people. And I'm also speaking for all of humanity. Because funny thing in this country, every time Black people rise, the rest of the country rises with us. You know, a rising tide lifts all boats. We are the rising tide, sir. And I'm tired of stupid people from my community acting as if what we present is substandard on a regular basis and what everybody else present is quality. Because that's what you say. I'm not going to be duped into that. You used to stand on the corner and sell t-shirts. I'm quite sure you wasn't in the part of Philadelphia where the affluent white folks are. You were selling those T-shirts and you wanted black people in your community to buy those funky ass T-shirts. But now that you don't sell funky ass T-shirts on the corner anymore, you want to sell to everybody. No, you can sell to everybody, but you need to be focusing on your community. And guess what? Smart ass Mr. Motivational Speaker. Motivate some of these young people not to go down the path you on without denigrating us, you jackass. With that being said, the final thing I'm going to talk about today before, what we're going to do is we're going to get into this history thing. I'm going to show you a piece of this video in regards to history, and I'm going to change it up a little bit. I may do a little narration in and out because I want us to understand what we're seeing. Check this out, and I'm going to be right here with us.
When you think about concentration camps, the first thing that probably comes to mind is Nazi Germany. But America had a concentration camp of its own, and its story is so horrifying, it's been erased from history. This is the Devil's Punch Bowl in Natchez, Mississippi. From above, it looks like a jungle. From below, it is a lush green forest waiting to be explored. But here, there is a dirty secret intentionally buried by historians and mainstream media: American death camps. Thousands of free black slaves were held in this concentration camp and treated in gruesome ways. Experts estimate that in just 1 year, more than 20,000 free black people died here. But much of its history remains a mystery. Even to this day, here is the true story of the Devil's Punch Bowl.
Now, with that being said, I'm going to stop right there. Do you understand what that person just said? Over 20,000 people after the enslavement period, after we won the war for their asses, they put us in death camps, as you heard them say, death camps, to destroy us further, to further beat us down. And you wonder why sociologically and psychologically we're so corrupted, because the stress and the tyranny that has been pressed upon us for initially 339 years, and for the last 162 years, is still embedded in us. If you beat on and shoot at and hang and lynch and set people on fire and rape their brothers, that's not a mistake. Their brothers, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, their grandfathers. And it used to be okay to rape a sister and nothing happened to you. If you grab a black man and tie him to the end of two different horses and snap him and watch the black man get snapped in half. These things are embedded in you spiritually, they're embedded in you genetically, and they want you to wake up tomorrow and be okay. Continue to watch this as we and understand what we're looking at.
In school, we are taught that in 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation set African Americans in rebel states free. Later, after the Civil War, the 13th Amendment liberated all U.S. slaves, no matter where they lived. It was the beginning of life out of bondage. Although this is true, it was a lot more complicated than that. In the South, there were 4 million slaves. They were a crucial component in keeping the Confederate war effort going. Even though Abraham Lincoln said the president had no constitutional right to attack slavery, the war changed everything. Recently, freed black people were facing a new challenge: white race brutality and prejudice. Even though slavery was over, state governments all around the South put together laws called the Black Codes. It was a time of great change, one that the white race wasn't ready to accept. That's because slavery played a crucial factor in their economy. It was basically the economic engine of the South. Black codes gave some rights to black people, like the ability to own property, get married, and bring lawsuits to court. But they also had severe restrictions. For example, black individuals were not allowed to testify against white people, serve on juries, or join state militias.
Now, do you see that? I'm gonna give you the. Listen to that, y'all. Listen to that. Listen to the evil that you just heard. We gonna let you get married. We gonna allow you to own property and pay taxes. We are going to allow you to be a citizen, but you can't be a jury. So when we rape one of your black women, you can't be on jury and say he wrong. When you steal from somebody, you can't be found guilty by a black person. These are the things that I'm telling you about. That's why when clowns like Wallow, clowns like Shaq, clowns like Stephen A. Smith, when they step up and try to speak for us, and these other buffoons that are all over the internet, when they step up and call themselves speaking for us, no, you can't speak for me. Hey, Jack, you speaking out of a limousine or SUV or some luxury vehicle. You're not telling me about the struggle. You used to be a part of the struggle. Now, what you can do is go down to the grassroots level and start filtering money into these organizations that's helping people and tap into people like Dr. Buster DeSoros, what's his name? Dr. DeSoros, Buster DeSoros Furry. I think that's his name. If I'm ruining your name, sorry, Doc, because you're an awesome brother. You're an awesome elder, and you're a gentleman in every sense of the word. And when you give money to people like him, who's doing things, who building homes and selling them at cost, who's putting stoplights in communities, who's building stores, grocery stores inside of our community, owned by the communities. That way you can hire who you want to hire and things of that nature. We have the ability to do these things, but you got other people trying to downplay and try for the illusion of inclusion. You include me. No, jackass, they not include you. You are a pawn. It's this one episode of the Jeffersons, the television show The Jeffersons, when George was about to join this country club, and they only let him in because they needed to show that they was going to have black people there too. And the man say, and I ain't joking, token. And that's what these guys out here, token black people who are not doing anything for the community, and they're just speaking for us, and they're really speaking against us. If you really want to speak for us, shut the hell up and finance things or find people who know what they're talking about. I don't care what some clown who spent 80% of his life behind bars has to say when he's talking down to our community. Wallow. I don't care what some clown who's tap dancing and buck dancing so he can sell pizza and insurance to people. Shaq. And Stephen A. Smith, you're one of the worst disgraces and examples of a black man I've ever seen on television in my life, you bozo. And yeah, I usually don't speak like this, but I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. Now, the game plan, let me close out in this. The game plan. Let's go along with the plan. We can win. We can win if we stand up and do what we've been doing. The people at Target are suffering. Target seems like a gigantic conglomerate that makes all these trillions of dollars. But guess what? The money that Walmart makes in about 3 months, it takes Target 6 to 8 months to make. So Target is on pace to take a $4.3 billion hit, which is a severe hit for any company in the history of the world. I don't care if it's Apple, Microsoft, or any of the big boys or big girls, General Mills, General Motors. Nobody wants to take a $1 billion hit. And guess what? They do a lot of good in our community. The thing that pisses me off is they think that they got this one way to get to us. Hey, we're going to call Al Sharpton. No problem with Brother Al, man. Brother Al does a lot. The Action Network does a lot. Al has a wonderful radio show on Sirius Satellite Radio, Channel 126, to come on after the great Karen Hunter. And he does great work. But Al Sharpton isn't the key to our community. If you really want to get in contact with us, Target, this is what you do. You hire what's called a headhunting firm. And what the headhunters do is find out what most of your stores are and the most people in our community patronize those stores. And then you go to Los Angeles, then you go to Dallas, and you go to Houston, and you go to Baton Rouge, and you go to New Orleans, and you go to Jackson, and you go to Birmingham, and you go to Atlanta, and then you go to Savannah, and then you go to the hot spots in Florida, Virginia, Baltimore, New York, Philadelphia, Detroit, Michigan, the three Cincinnati and Cleveland, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, Minneapolis, Minnesota, where your headquarters are, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, St. Louis, Missouri. Those are some of the hot spots that we are. And you have a town hall in those places and say, how can we fix this? How can we work together so we won't look like we turned our back on a community that contributes $4.3 billion to our industry? That shows us that you're actually talking to us. Al Sharpton, I ain't never seen Al Sharpton. Much respect to him. I live in the same city as one Jesse Jackson. I ain't never laid eyes on him outside of television. So what the hell do they know about what Brian wants? I mean, I know what HRap thinking. No, the hell you don't. No, you don't. Don't go to the pastors. Don't go to the people. If you really want us to deal with you, come to us and say, hey, man, what did we do wrong? And listen. And the vet, just like DeForest Soaries, that's his name. I couldn't think his name. Dr. Buster DeForest Soaries, just like he did. He sat down, he opened up, he bought a camper, a trailer, and invited the people in the community in. What's wrong? And he came up with a consensus. There was too many young people getting hit at a stoplight. We need a grocery store, and we need this community cleaned up. He cleaned up the community. He got the stoplight put in, and he made a grocery store, and then he started building homes in his community where his church is, on vacant lots that him and his church purchased, built up the house at cost. Church didn't make any money, but guess what? I bet you his church is doing well now, because now you got people in the community coming to his church and saying, hey, well, you did what you said you was going to do. Brother DeSoris is the man. Brother Jeremiah right here in Chicago, the man. So guess what? But if you need to talk to the people like they do, we don't need you talking to no damn celebrities. No disrespect to Al Sharpton. Much respect to the brother. But I don't need you talking to Al Sharpton, because I don't live in Brooklyn, New York. I don't live in Manhattan. I don't live in the Bronx. I don't live in Staten Island. I don't live in Queens. And that's what the brother Al Sharpton is. Respect. Nothing bad to say about brother Al Sharpton. I don't care. Oh, we're back in the day. Guess what? Back in the day, I could stand at a rim without looking up, take half a step back, and dunk a basketball. Ask me to do it today, I can grab a donut and a glass of milk and dunk a donut. That's all I'm dunking at this point. Or myself in a pool or something. But I ain't doing that no more. So don't tell me about back in the day. Talk about now. Another thing, we have the financial wherewithal to get up out of all this nonsense. We need to start structuring things like voting campaigns. All these churches, all the pastors of these churches, what we need to do is start taking tithe money. If you got a large congregation, and making sure everybody in your congregation got a real ID. And then when you get that real ID, a voter's registration card. Salute to one Jesse White, former Secretary of State in the state of Illinois, because as soon as you get an ID, they register you to vote right then and there. So you get a real ID. We're going to make sure our elders and our citizens have real IDs, and then voters registration cards. Now everybody can vote. If you're doing that, now we're going to get voter drives. Guess what? Then as a community, what we can do is start picking up our seniors and picking up people who can't go vote, and we're going to start voting. We're going to early vote to the point we're going to early vote, and then we're going to go election day, and then we're going to know Brandon Johnson, example, gets reelected in Chicago immediately. We're not going to play these games. One of the greatest things I've seen this weekend is all through our social media is our young brother, Ryan Coogler, out of Oakland, California. This brother, he made Fruitville Station, one of the dopest movies I've ever seen in my life. Salute to him. And this week, a movie that he is going to have total control over. All the money, after a certain dollar amount is met, all that money is going in his pocket. Salute to Spike Lee for educating me on that. What we need to do is 45 to 60 million of us in this country. I think it's more 60. But I'm going to say 45 because the census says 45 to 50. I think it's 60. But if a third of us, which is about 20 million of us, go see that movie, and I'm going to be one of those people to go see that movie, we put that $20 down towards Brother Krugler's plan. That's $400 million. I looked into it. It only cost $90 million to make it. They're going to get that money back. And then Brother Coogler, he ain't going to need nobody else to do anything. All they doing is distributing his movies. And if we can get behind Brother Coogler like that, I mean, this new Spike Lee movie coming out, and then the Hughes brothers, and then we start supporting each other in that fashion and not listening to dumbasses like Wallow. And then we start empowering people, start letting people know, hey, man, we only supporting you because we need you to give to some of these after-school programs. And we're only supporting you because we need you to show your face in the town. That's Oakland, for those who don't know, they call it the town. We need you to show your face so you can be, so it's not an anomaly to see you. And then other celebrities, y'all need to start giving back. And guess what? And when we hand out you start handing out your tithes and helping people get IDs and things of that nature, we also educators. We need you to come to your church on the weekend and start teaching Black history and helping people enhance their math skills. We have the blueprint, and we can win if we work together and do it. People like the Black Panther Party of Self-Defense, the student SNCC, and other organizations. They've done it in the past. In Philadelphia, they have freedom schools. They have some here in Chicago. Look, we need to start engaging instead of I heard from what they say. I seen this. Now, before I close out, I want to talk about Carmelo Anthony. That's Carmelo with a K. Carmelo Anthony is being used as a sacrificial lamb to initiate some type of warfare against our community. He is not a violent young man. He's a young man who's going to have stress and anguish for the rest of his life, whether he gets out of this or not. He was in a horrible situation. He defended himself, and he ended up unaliving someone. Understand the pressure, the stress, and the anguish that young man is going to have to deal with for the rest of his life. So, like these Klansmen and these nationalists and these hate mongers did for people like George Zimmerman and the cop that killed Mike Brown and the other police officers throughout the nation who've killed people and had the ability to relocate. Why don't we go to their GoFundMe and load them with enough money to sell their house and move and relocate and restart their lives and get the young brothers some therapy or what have you, and get the family some therapy because they get death threats. See, these are the type of actions that we need to do to ensure our community is doing well. So look, we got hundreds of years of stress, tyranny, and anguish built inside of us. It's called epigenetics. And if we don't want to continue that and continue down that path, we're going to have to unite and do something about it. One more thing. I want to salute to Willie D. Willie D is a former rapper, and he had some raunchy songs back in the day. And most women will find, a lot of women will find some of his music outright disrespectful. That's Willie D as a 19, 20, 21, 25, 30-year-old. This is a 50, almost 60-year-old Willie D, and he's doing action in the community. He has a program. He's a content creator, much like myself, and he's doing things to uplift the community and highlighting good people inside of the community. The reason I brought up Willie D today, I saw a thumbnail of him, and it says that Vlad finally gives a formal apology to the minister Louis Farrakhan. Vlad, excuse my language for the people who support me who don't like profane language. I don't give a hot goddamn what Vlad from Vlad TV says. An apology that has to be induced 5 to 6 years later is not an apology. What it is you check your books and you see how Black people are walking away from madness and nonsense now. And people like myself have blocked your channel on my YouTube page, so it won't even come up and I won't see anything that has your face unless you show up on Mav Hoffa, my personal or my expert opinion, or Willie D, or Pivot, or I even block Breakfast Club. I've had enough of that foolishness too. But that's the only way I'll see your face. When the bottom line is lower than what you want, don't make $10 million off exploitation of young Black men, getting them to say things that will incarcerate them. And oh yeah, well he's saying, and then you got people saying, well, if you smart enough to go in there, you shouldn't be so stupid to say that. Well, if I have not been trained and I don't know how to, I'm not media trained and I don't know how to conduct myself, how can you expect them to know? Well, you should know. No, you shouldn't, because guess what? How many people knew what I just showed you on that video about the Punch Bowl in Mississippi? That you didn't know that. Some of y'all didn't know that before tonight. So how am I going to hold you accountable for what you don't know? It's our job to make sure these young people are prepared. And if he's exploiting them, he's the devil. He's a clown. He's a bozo. And he's just oppressive as the president. He does a whole lot of laughing, and he does a whole lot of laughing and exploitation of our community. People are walking away from that platform. So you go on one of the biggest platforms and you call in a favor from a brother like Willie D, and you say, I'm gonna apologize. But when people like Lord Jamar and people like Godfrey the comedian, they asked you to apologize when you did it, you said, I'm not gonna do it. But now that your money is not flowing as freely as it used to, now you want to apologize. No, Black people, we need to let his ass drown. We need to let him drown. Enough of saving these people's career. The Skip Baylesses of the world, the other people who've said things against us, and then all of a sudden, when people walk away, you had this revelation that I'm a bigot. No, you are a bigot. You are exploitative. You exploit people, and guess what? It's time for you to go away. With that being said, it's time for me to go away. Thank you for tapping in. It's your man, HRap. I'll catch you tomorrow. A few minutes with HRap, a few more minutes than I anticipated, but See y'all tomorrow. 2 fingers, 1 word, and y'all already know.
And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why